Hi, it's Ron Pazinski, President of Concare, once again. We've been talking about things to consider when evaluating a concrete surface before you do something to it. And we talked about new concrete, we talked about existing concrete, we've talked about physical requirements, in other words, what you're going to do with it. Last but not least, we need to talk about operational issues. Now, operational issues, some of these are things that would apply if you had an existing facility in production, and some would apply if you had a new facility ready to go into production. But in either case, there are some things that really need to be considered before you turn the key and start getting some things done. First of all is scheduling. Do you need to, or do you have to, or do you have a requirement to fit in a treatment within your production schedule, or you have a little more open-ended situation that you can deal with? I say that because most customers in an operating environment have to get their production up and running as quickly as possible. That may mean that you need to consider performing work over weekends, second shift, maybe even some long holidays if needed to get the things done so it doesn't interfere with production. And you'll want to make sure you communicate that as part of your requirements when you're looking for a new solution. Second thing you want to consider is cleanability, if this is important. In some environments, cleanability doesn't really make much difference, but say if you're in a food or pharmaceutical environment, you may really need to keep a high level of sanitation or cleanability, and you want to address that as part of your overall scope and make sure that you understand how to achieve a cleanable surface. Now, hand in hand with that also goes things like safety. So it is true to some extent that you can't have an easily cleanable floor and a perfectly safe floor in a wet environment. Now, in a dry environment, it's not going to matter much. But you want to be sure that in evaluating what you are going to do with your finished surface, that you talk about how important safety is and whether or not I need a texture, and if I put one in, how am I going to clean and maintain it? Which brings me to the next and really probably the biggest challenge that anyone really has in evaluating what they need to do, and that's simply expectations. You know, the easiest way to consider communicating your expectations to someone is to just pretend you're waving a magic wand. And what would it look like if it was completed and ready for service? Would it be shiny or dull? Would it be sloped to the drains? Would it have treatments along the wall? Would it have multiple colors? Would it have striping? What exactly do you need to have accomplished when it's all said and done? And the better you can communicate your expectations in terms of appearance, and the better you can explain your expectations in terms of durability, the better off you're going to be. There are a lot of things that don't get communicated that are in your head that you need to tell people and be able to communicate to get the best end result for the finished product. So I hope that these little vignettes have helped to explain some of the issues that you might really need to consider when talking about concrete surfaces and how to treat them to make them better.